16 stone, 2.5 pounds.
In the corner, on my left, South California, weighing 95.50 kilos, wearing blackbird with white trim, the present WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Weaver.
15 stone on the button. Well, applause, as you would expect from his own cornermen. And the dignitaries in the ring there include Floyd Patterson and Marvin Hagler. And I think Marvin Hagler, the world middleweight champion, is going to come alongside me and join us for a comment later in the fight. And there's Gerrie Coetzee, they pronounce that in the Dutch Afrikaans fashion. Man who's had to come to terms with himself quite a bit. Very good boxer indeed, lacks a little bit of confidence. And now the old-fashioned eyeball treatment, as they call it, with Mike Weaver, the former Marine who fought in Vietnam, who really, believe it or not, wanted to be a preacher and not a puncher, and has brought his own pastor with him here tonight, a 52-year-old lady who seems to be his Svengali. Well, I don't really think, I think that's wearing itself out a little bit now, this staring. These fellows, as they said in the predictions for you, that they don't expect it to go the full distance. So set for 15 rounds, but you'll be lucky to see all those, I would have thought. So now, I suggest that you don't even sneeze during this heavyweight contest if you just feign the knockout. Is looking already to throw that right-hand bomb, the bionic hand they call that, because it was broken against Mike Schutter and they had to repair it with metal. South Africans had 2 one-round knockouts then with Leon Speaks and Mike Korenicki, both Americans. And Weaver traditionally been a slow starter, but also takes a good punch, and Coetzee has never been knocked down either. Coetzee, though don't speak. I don't understand how the referee could understand what he is saying, but he could be talking to Weaver, but I certainly can't see him, or hear him anyway. The champion has been in Bophuthatswana 4 weeks for the acclimatization, and he really is a relaxed character. And having been in with Larry Holmes, stopped in the 12th round, and then that great knockout against John Tate to win this championship. But those bombs are getting unloaded very early on. And a much better start by Coetzee than he had against the former WBA champion John Tate, when he really could have been arrested for loitering at the start of that fight, but not in this one. Long right hand, and he's made it count in previous fights. Certainly Weaver's got to have some respect for that. Might have been shaking a lot of the nervousness out of his system there, the South African. He does suffer bad temperament, but certainly having a good opening round. He couldn't be much better than this. Oh, but again the champion coming back with those hooks now. Well, they predicted this would be a fight of the bummers, and it certainly is. Those punches are coming in there at full force, and tribute to both men that they've taken such strong punches early on, and particularly Weaver. Well, you won't see much more action than that in an opening round. And alongside me is the world middleweight champion, Marvin Hagler, who's forgiven us for all the troubles that happened after he'd won the championship at Wembley. What an explosive start, Marvin.
Oh, I tell you, I figured it would be like this. Like I said, the way they're coming out now, it do not look like this fight's going to go 15 rounds. Coetzee looks very hungry for the championship. And I think maybe Mike Weaver might have had a thumb or something in his eye right now. He's got tears in his eyes. The second round should be very interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Marvin. I noticed he was blinking as he finished that round. That was probably what he was annoyed about. Is he doing anything there? They're spraying that water over him. Yeah, there it is. You see, wiping them out there. He's obviously had some problem there. Could have been a cause of the glove. The referee, the cornermen are saying something to the Venezuelan referee. Yes, get the water off of the challenger, and he's listened to them, to my surprise, and pushed the trainer Alan Tawil out. And now Tawil is protesting now. So round two then, and an explosive WBA version of the heavyweight championship here in the heart of the African bush. A marvelous setting in a metal stadium, and they put this yellow backdrop to stop the sun shining through, but it's very cool in here. The champion is giving away many things there in height and weight. You can see why they call him Hercules. His former weightlifter got a terrific body, but strange enough, bodybuilding has never really gone with big-time fighting, and he stopped pumping iron a long time ago now, he said. It's always unbelievable casualness with Weaver. I've seen him several times now, and he's done this, and he pulled that left hook out of the bag to knock John Tate over in the dying seconds, and he had Larry Holmes in a lot of trouble at Madison Square Garden, but he always gives the impression that he fancies going to sleep early in a fight. Coetzee's trainer, Alan Tawil, from the famous Tawil family here in South Africa, has said that he's really tried to pump Coetzee up with confidence in the 2 months that he's had him, to unleash those punches and not stand back as he did with John Tate. Coetzee only one defeat in 24 fights. 192 as an amateur, and he only lost 7. Look at this casualness now. This is something that he didn't try to do at all with John Tate, and I think he's still bitterly hurt by losing that position, and he certainly was well beaten. Seemed obvious in that ferocious opening minute, but they really couldn't keep that pace up. They are giant-sized heavyweights, these two. And it looks to me as though it's going to be a battle of punch but of will, and we'll be right back. So into round 3, and Weaver definitely having a bit of trouble with the eyes there, as Marvin Hagler pointed out. It could be a bit of grease, he thinks, in there, but he can see enough to throw a punch or two, and I'm sure Coetzee is aware of that. South African possibly a bit right-hand happy. I thought perhaps he'd pave his way in with the left hand there, but he hasn't bothered to do so yet. But Weaver doesn't mind it going a long way because he figures he's going to finish stronger of the two. Right above this commentary position, both punches are really thudding in. Absolutely rib-breaking. Coetzee trying to show how nimble he can be at 16, 2.5. He stands 6'3". And the South African gambling with every punch as he's got Weaver in there. Pinned in his own corner there, Weaver, but knowing how to fight his way up. Only 30 fights, but really always looks to me like a veteran buster. Well, whatever the tactics were of Coetzee, it was pretty obvious that he wanted to come out and try and take Weaver early on, and Weaver was expecting that. So with a minute to go in the third, amazing this casualness of Coetzee. I'm not sure that's going to pay off, but better that than he should be tense as he's proved in earlier fights. I think Weaver will probably have to try and back Coetzee up soon. And Marvin Hagler once again.
How are you, Ray? I tell you, looks like Mike Weaver's starting to come on a little bit. He's loosening up more. I think the first couple rounds he was really tight. We'll see his right uppercut is very active. You probably see it right here, where he uses good body punches there. Mike Weaver's coming up very well. Boom, that shot there had to hurt very well, but Weaver's taking a very good shot here. He comes back fighting. This fight here, this guy's here are really throwing big bombs, Ray. I don't think this fight, like I said, will last 15 rounds.
Yes, it certainly looks that way, Marvin, doesn't it? No question about that. This crowd really, the tension here in Botswana is unbelievable. At the gambler's paradise, and these two are gambling with every punch they throw. Johnny Tuko wearing the cap there. He comes from Las Vegas. He's considered to be Weaver's cut man. Round 4. Well, they really like a couple of rhinos quarreling in this bush out here, aren't they? Banging away there, nobody complaining about any head dropping or low blows. Weaver was being baited a bit by the press early on here about allegedly throwing low punches, but he hasn't shown a sign of that yet. Every seat sold in this 17,000 giant barn of arena, where they must come by road from Johannesburg, if not by a fleet of helicopters that are parked at the entrance this year. The sheer size of the challenger won't bother Weaver too much, because he's had tape coming at him in Knoxville for 15 rounds, almost 15 rounds anyway, and then he caught up with him in the end. So I don't think there's any fear in Weaver's heart at all. Punching championship, this one, with a minute to go in round 4. fight caught the gamblers out a bit. They've leaned with the odds on in America with Weaver, but here the odds have closed to 5-4 Weaver, and obviously Coetzee having a lot of support. Venezuelan referee doing his best to keep these giants apart. They're above me, and the sweat is bouncing all over me as those punches are going in. So into the 5th round then. And they seem to be pouring gallons of water over these two. And it seems that they're both using the weakening process of throwing punches to the body. With Coetzee, of course, trying that lance to the right hand, that one. Yelling in the champion's corner inside, which means to obviously throw the punches inside there, but the big fella's leaning on him too much. Obviously Coetzee, not an infighter. I tell you, there's not a playful tap to be seen here. Everyone's a potential knockout punch. Imagine Coetzee saying to himself, well, this fellow's still here by the 15th round. It's never too late because he proved it knocking out John Tate and I lost to him. He must have that little bit of fear in the heart, surely. A minute to go, the 5th round. Again, I'm surprised Coetzee hasn't tried to pave his way in with the left hand, but they just want to get stuck in, these two, which will certainly not upset the crowd. Would have paid a lot of money to see this, because Mike Weaver, quite rightly, is getting the lion's share of the purse, and that's rather fitting, isn't it, in Africa? See what's happening with the corner men there, whether we can hear any of the instructions. As you see in that far side, Alan Tawil throwing the sponge straight there at Coetzee before he's even sat on the stool. And the usual decoration from the casino show there, putting up the round numbers. And in the slow motion, well, there's the jab coming in, and that's the right hand that got away there with Coetzee. That one looked as though it hurt Weaver, but he absorbed it immediately. That's where the weightlifting must have come in handy to strengthen those neck muscles. Just look at that good exchange there. They're really hard punches there coming in from Weaver. Marvin, they fight in spasms, but it's an impressive fight nonetheless.
Oh, yeah, I would say so, Reg. I tell you, these guys, they are still very aggressive. Mike Weaver seems like he has to get hit with a good punch or for him to start fighting, though.
Round 6. And all those that predicted it to be an explosive start have been proven wrong, because they probably underestimated the vein of rock, I think, in Weaver's jaw. Takes a good shot early on. Sometimes I've seen him run out of stamina, but now that he's become champion, obviously he's just put on that training a little bit. He didn't take this game too seriously when he started. He actually lost 6 of his first 12 fights. Enough for him to lose heart altogether, but he's got a new manager and a whole new system, and he certainly is looking well these days. He's 28. He's got a good chance of being crushed to death if he gets in between these two fellas. But it's Coetzee who's doing the spoiling tactic and talking to the callers. Coetzee is talking to the American cornermen there, and I'm sure can't understand what he says even when he doesn't wear his mouthpiece. Telegraphed that right hand, and Weaver didn't even get the message. He just let it come and catch him. That was amazing, really. Well, I don't think the challenger can continue that big daddy stuff. He's really got to jab a bit with that left and try and make the right count, not just use the weight all the time. Weaver's really getting fed up with it. Was a really tit-for-tat right hand coming in from Weaver there, and again, and there's just a little bump under Coetzee's left eye. So half a minute to go then in round 6, and the referee seems to be on to any of these tricks of the trade there, trying to prevent the holding, but he should be calling break perhaps a little earlier than that. Well, it's lumbering but powerful, Marvin, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. They're getting a bit slow at times, but those punches are still sinking in, aren't they?
Yes, oh yeah. I feel as though that Coetzee is really trying to smother his punches up by holding on to the ropes and getting rest. I think they're both kind of tired. I think that we're going to see if Weaver can retaliate later on in the fight game.
I think that was a shot there that you saw, Marvin, with the trouble with Weaver's left eye. There definitely has been some trouble. Maybe that's why he's having a little trouble getting off with his punches as he usually does. It doesn't seem to be closing in any way. Might have been just a little bit of grease caught in there. You see, they're trying to wash it out all the time.
I think it's on his nose there.
On the bridge?
Yeah, bridge of his nose. I think that's what the problem is. Probably a straight right hand or a hook just brushing the nose there. What could have caused that?
Well, you certainly know how that feels.
Oh.
Round 7. And to recap, here in Bophuthatswana in the South African homeland, Sun City Stadium, 17,000 people, the WBA version of the World Heavyweight Championship, with Mike Weaver making his first defense against Gerrie Coetzee. Not to be confused, by the way, with another South African heavyweight named Kali Funupta, who fought John Tate also in Bophuthatswana, but not in the stadium. Sometimes lands that right hand Coetzee with arm strength rather than leaning his body in with a punch. You can imagine what he would do if he really follows through with it. by and large, the better body puncher. Really used that left hook to the body that I've seen him do in previous fights yet. Could be saving it a bit. Well, he did that on the blind side of the referee there, Coetzee, hanging on to the rope. And that, of course, is an unfair advantage, and he should be cautioned for it. So with a minute to go, then in round 7. Brought up on South African heavyweights. My father used to train Ben Ford of South Africa, who won the British and then Empire Championship. And this fella's easily the biggest. Into round 8. And the American writers behind me here are saying they think that Weaver's been a little bit busier, and they've got him ahead by 1 or possibly 2 rounds. But aggression, of course, does count so much in American scoring. So Coetzee trying to use that 16.5 pounds advantage. Punch of the fight. It was a bit high, but Weaver reacted as though, yes, that was the first really painful shot I've taken. But now you watch him fight back here. He says, look, there he goes. He always does this, and if Coetzee drops his guard too much, he can get a counter punch. But this crowd really cheering the South African on. In round 8, and if you get 3 knockdowns in any one round, the contest is automatically over. I've never agreed with that rule, but the WBA say that it's in existence for this contest. But it may require only 1 knockout and not the 3 knockdowns to win this one. He's really rooted to the spot there, Weaver. Well, if he came into this round with an advantage, he's lost it now. And I think it's foolish of him to let Coetzee punch himself out against him. And the crowd sensing surely that this could be the first South African, well, at least half heavyweight champion of the world. They've only had 2 world champions in their history, both bantamweights. Well, Weaver might well be saying now to Coetzee, well, I've taken all your best punches. What are you going to do about that? And certainly Coetzee, right above me here, panting and looking very tired, having thrown those amount of punches, but clearly won the round. Marvin, what an explosive round, eh?
I tell you, what a right hand Coetzee caught Weaver with. I tell you, if that didn't drop him, I don't know. That might have been Coetzee's best punch. I tell you, this is conditioning. Look at that right hand. Jeez, I heard it way over here. That might have been Coetzee's best punch. I don't know. Weaver seems to be coming back now and snapping out of it. Weaver was in trouble there. He still looks in trouble.
So round 9. And let's see if Weaver really has pulled himself together in that corner. He did this with Larry Holmes, by the way, in Madison Square Garden. It looked as though he was going to fall over. He came back and really shook the now WBC version of the heavyweight championship, Larry Holmes, and then finished up getting stopped in the 12th. Hagler, I wonder what's going through Coetzee's mind now, having thrown his best shots, and there's the champion coming back at him. How does a fighter feel at that stage?
Well, right now, he's just got to look for another good shot like that. You can see how the crowd is all getting uproared right now, trying to look for another good shot. They want him to throw another right hand just like that. It might end the fight if he hit him with another right hand like that.
But Weaver seems to be ignoring him, doesn't he? And that's incredible.
Well, Weaver's picking up his speed a little better this time, and I think his problem is Weaver's got to be first. He's letting Coetzee get off first.
Well, now it's my turn. With a minute then to go in the 9th round. And the referee almost having to work as hard as the boxers there trying to pull them apart. A bit too much wrestling for a heavyweight championship, but between those clinches there's certainly some hard punches going in. And this must be part of the wearing down process, the tactics by both camps there. They've both got a lot of muscle to lug about. Well, Coetzee, apart from that little mouth it's called in the fight trade under the left eye, comparatively unmarked, and I must say that those corner men seem to be in more control than they were when he fought Sunday. The man in glasses on the outside, that's Flip Coetzee, his father. And as you can see there in the ring is Alan Coweel, now the new trainer that was brought in. And obviously, the South Africans would be thrilled if they thought their man could go on to fight the American version of the latest white hope, Gerrie Coetzee, who brought off a sensational one-round win over Ron Lyle in New York last night. And in Weaver's corner, Ray Barnes, the old trainer, the manager on the outside, Don Manuel, and the cut man who hasn't really been used yet, Johnny Rocco. So into round 10, and the second's a bit late getting out there. this is the part of the fight that Weaver fancied he could take over. Now, can he do it? Because he put himself in a bit of trouble in that 8th and 9th, particularly the 8th there, taking those shots. And now this is the first real signs of aggression we've seen from the champion. Screaming in Weaver's corner to the referee to part them earlier. It's a bit uncompromising, but I understand why Coetzee is doing that, laying on the champion just to nullify that close quarter stuff. There's some really hard exchanges there. The boxers now will not part until the referee dives in. That's something that British referees tried to make them break on the word command. Otherwise, they do tend to turn it into a three-cornered match. Minutes to go now in the 10th, and the Venezuelan referee absolutely yanking Coetzee off there from the ropes. This time he waved a finger at him or two, I should have thought. Not exactly a yellow card job, but certainly worth a caution. And Weaver nails Coetzee there with that right hand. So as we come up then to the end of this round, Coetzee seemingly running out of gas and needs this break. Round 11. And straight out there from the bell, and Coetzee throws that hopeful right hand. And Weaver's corner, and certainly the champion himself, now sensing that the challenger is just showing a bit of lead in the leg, but he still has a lot of dynamite in that punch. And this is exactly what Weaver did with John Tate. Is he going to have a similar finish or not? All that left hook to the body, we've been talking about it this time, and it's happened at last. And there's blood on the bridge of Coetzee's nose, and this really is Weaver coming in at his best. Dangerous too. Those ropes have slackened a bit since the fight started, and you can clearly see the blood there coming down Coetzee's nose. Cut must be on the bridge there somewhere. Now certainly made up that lost ground that he went through in the middle of the fight. And a minute to go in the 11th, and again there's problem there. This really could hurt Weaver's back if they do that. And finally, the Venezuelan referee, Celis, has warned the challenger. Well, there's not much pretense of defense. There hasn't been really at any time in the fight, but now they're too tired to try and block punches. They just want to land them. A little bit of desperation showing. Coetzee looking certainly more than worried by that round, and wondering now whether he can pull out and show that stamina that they say he's doubting. I don't know, I'm not sure. We'll have a look at replay there. And didn't Weaver come out with a good start there? And the strength that the man shows, you can see why they nicknamed him Hercules. But that three rights that Weaver threw there did get away, but the left hooks to the body were counting. Have another word then with Marvin Hagler, how he sees it.
Well, I don't know. Coetzee's nose may be broke right now. He looks very tired, and I think what he has to do is get his bounce back in his legs there and start throwing some good punches and start taking the edge back if he wants this championship from him.
Yeah, I doubt whether it'll be broken. He doesn't seem to be that bothered. I think it's more blood than broken bone. So into the 12th round then. And I did say early on that I didn't necessarily agree with the pundits who thought that this would be a quick fight, because I knew that they both absorbed the punch so well. Doing that in the same position there, that falling over that top rope. Coetzee might just fall into a punch trying to do that in a minute, because Weaver sometimes uses the rope in a sort of semi-catapult fashion when he throws that left hook. There it is, a good exchange there from Weaver, all accurate. Difficult for these judges to sort out one way or another. I bet they're praying for something to happen to get off the hook. To repeat that, you have Danish and Panamanian judges, plus the vote of the Venezuelan referee, 10 points for each round. Getting the best of it in the inside work. He's been trying to do that all along, and now Coetzee getting a bit too tired to hang on. So about half a minute to go then in round 12. Look the way the Venezuelan referee trying to shove the big fellow off. Of course, for 15 rounds, the championship. And the timekeeper in front of me having trouble there. The bell actually got jammed, would you believe? And wonder what would have happened if the punch had been thrown then and the knockout would have happened. Well, Marvin, it seems to me that Weaver's come right back into the fight now. I wonder how these judges, you know, they look at it differently, obviously, to you and I.
Yeah, I think right now, Weaver's taking a big edge right now, and I don't think he wants to let Coetzee back in this picture. Like I said, in order for Coetzee to get back in this picture, I think he's got to come with one of those big right hands like he had before. One thing that I will say, they're very fair over here. They're not letting Coetzee hang on the ropes at all.
No, I agree with you. The referee there doing his job. Sometimes a bit slow, I think. Maybe a bit more prompt in Britain than that.
Round number 13.
So there it is, round 13. Is it going to be unlucky for one? And really, before this fight, I did think that it was going to be a hard slog. And it certainly turned out that way. Gerrie Coetzee knows that this is his last chance to get back in that World Championship picture. He threw it away with John Tate, and he really couldn't expect a third chance. And the champion punches still accurate in this 13th round, exactly as he did when he defeated John Tate in his hometown of Knoxville. And Tate was winning going away. He put Tate away. That's probably the best body punch he's thrown the whole fight there, Weaver. The champion seconds now, encouraging him to use the right hand. That's the one. Oh, and he got away with it. He answered the corner. He did his job with that right hand, and it doesn't look as though Coetzee is going to beat this count. The Venezuelan referee really belling at his ears all over in the 13th round with a right hand from Mike Weaver in almost a similar fashion that he did it with John Tate in the final round of that World Championship. This man bided his time, and he got away with it. And Coetzee was running out of gas, and it really was a great finish. Marvin Hagler, quick word.
Very good fight. One thing that Coetzee showed is that he had plenty of heart. He stayed in there. It just showed that maybe Mike Weaver was probably a better fighter. Here you see it right here. You see where he caught him with a good right hand. And down he went right there. I don't think that he wanted to get up anymore. I believe he could have, but he couldn't.
Commotion in the ring there is Mike Weaver.
By a knockout in the 15th round, the Superbowl heavyweight champion, Mike Weaver.
Commotion in the ring there is Mike Weaver. Goes over to console Gerrie Coetzee. He's really smiling. So let's be the first to have a word with a great performance by a champion. You looked a little worried, Mike, at the start, but you came up with a really champion.
Yeah, I'm a slow start, and he hurt me a couple times. He threw it hard. Got there the right hand, threw the left hook. I wasn't tired, but you know, he's a good opponent for me. I had to work hard to get it. I knew I'd knock him out, because I didn't knock him out.
Well, we could hear your corner shouting. We could hear your corner shouting throw a right hand, and you answered it. Did you hear them calling that?
Yeah, they said throw right hand. I don't throw it with my right hand. The right hand is my best punch. I don't throw it with my right hand.
Well, it's a fight performance. You seem to do this all the time now, Mike. Come in late in a fight.
I'm in late, that's me.
That's it. Well, I'm surprised how quick you're looking after such a fight. Great. Congratulations. And who's going to fight next?
I don't know. I like to fight Larry Holmes. You know, I feel like he was the real champion. He beat me. I like to fight Larry Holmes. I'm not afraid to say he's the true champion. I like to fight Larry Holmes again.
Thank you, Mike Weaver. And with that exciting finish then, back to